So I used to meet a lot of, startup entrepreneurs, founders at coffee shop. Flex is going to be mainstream in next 3 years. I would say in 2014 or 15, Flex was not even 1% of office stock. Today it is at 18%. So if the office stock is 1 billion square feet. So I think this industry has transformed the whole narrative from per square feet to per desk.
Per desk. How will I have privacy? अगर ठीक है मेरे 15 ही लोग हैं और आपने मेरे को coworking में बैठा दिया, how do I get privacy? And now you're in 100 cities.
Now the platform has 5,000 centers in 100 cities, including metros, non-metros, tier 2, tier 3. And
the largest in the country, I would say.
In terms of 5,000 centers which are listed now, there are around 1,100 operators.
Wow.
I would strongly recommend a lot of startup entrepreneurs to think about profitability from day one.
No burn.
India averages $100.
$100, which is 8,300.
Yeah. So sub 8,500 is what I recommend to a lot of people. I also recommend a lot of people to look at non-metros. We want to be double of what we are in the next 24 months. We feel if the supply is 18% of the office stock and it's going to be 30%, there should be a growth. I think first and foremost, hats off to the operator partners, supply partners. There has been since 2016, when I said the phenomena started, even now, more and more supply partners are coming into the ecosystem. I think startups, high growth companies, and then even now, Indian large companies, multinational company, everyone is looking for co-working space for some requirement or the other. In some cases, even a large office, managed office they're looking for, and they're also coming online to search and compare.
वेलकम टू पॉडकास्ट बाय स्पेस क्रिएटर्स। आज हम एक बहुत डिफरेंट टर्न लेने जा रहे हैं हमारे पॉडकास्ट में। टुडे इज इंटरनेशनल कोवर्किंग डे, सो वी हैव एन इंडस्ट्री एक्सपर्ट, इंडस्ट्री लीडर, इंडस्ट्री पायनियर. वी हैव समबडी हु हैज बीन इंस्ट्रूमेंटल इन गेटिंग कोवर्किंग अ big industry in India. So we have Paras Arora, the chairman and managing director of Qdesq. Qdesq is the largest aggregator, a tech-enabled platform in India. On Qdesq, you can find 5,000 different co-working centers from 100 cities in India. In this podcast, it is very interesting. You will know everything you need to know about co-working. What is co-working? What is flexi office versus a managed versus a conventional office? You will also know that is it a profitable business or not. You will also know that by 2030, this is going to be a $10 billion industry in India. A very interesting podcast on co-working. So let's welcome Paras. Welcome Paras. Welcome to Podcast by Space Creators.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here and thanks for inviting me.
पारस, पता है आज मेरी कंडीशन ना एक छोटे बच्चे की तरह है जिसको कैंडी शॉप में छोड़ दिया हो और उसके पास ये है कि बेटा तू कुछ भी ले सकता है. यू नो, गिवन योर एक्सपर्टीज, आई वुड नॉट से एक्सपर्टीज, योर मास्टरी इन द फील्ड ऑफ कोवर्किंग is phenomenal. You spend enough time in the industry. You are, I think, one of the pioneers as a tech giant in co-working, and you know all the sides of co-working. So I think the conversation is going to be fiery, electronic. जिसको भी देखना है और anybody wants to know anything about co-working, I think we will be able to cover that.
First and foremost, very kind introduction. ऐसा कुछ है नहीं. Mastery तो बहुत दूर की बात है. We are still a student. We are learning from people like you. We are learning from all the operators, whether branded, national, international, and the great micro entrepreneurship which has happened in flex ecosystem or co-working. India में ज़्यादा popular word co-working है. Globally इसे flex workspace बोलते हैं. ये conventional के बिल्कुल opposite है. You know, this term actually got a lot of popularity, co-working, after WeWork, after 2010.
Okay.
But before that, it was not that it wasn't there. It was there. In fact, one of the biggest company in this domain, IWG Regis.
Yeah.
It started in way back 1989 or 90.
Okay.
So yeah, but
1989.
1989. But yeah, a lot of people globally and in India used to call it business center or serviced office. But the whole glamorization of this space, which is like, one big space, then cut it into many
Many pieces.
offices or private suites. This from a business center to serviced office to co-working now.
Yeah. This happened after, I think, WeWork.
Yeah, we really popularized the whole concept
Yeah.
of co-working. Initially, the early adopters of co-working were, freelancers and startups because they could not afford a bigger office. They didn't want it to be stuck in a lease. And they went for ready to move in, plug and play, desk and, private offices. That's how it started.
Yeah. Tell us about your journey, Paras. How did you enter co-working? Where did you start from? And what happened that you said, अब co-working करेंगे?
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं था कि co-working करेंगे. What I'm doing right now, actually, it was a path chosen by the Almighty and destiny. In fact, I have no academic or a professional background of business center, serviced office. In fact, I was not even a full-fledged commercial real estate person.
Okay.
I did work for an IPC for quite some time, but that again, I was away from business centers and co-working. This just happened by chance, and there was a brief period when I was flirting, or I would say getting energized by the startup ecosystem. That energy came to me that I should start something of my own.
Okay.
And I started writing down what I can do.
Okay. So the idea came from doing a startup. It didn't come from कि मुझे co-working
I
करना है.
flirted with startup ecosystem in terms of investing in some startups.
अच्छा.
So I used to meet a lot of startup entrepreneurs, founders at coffee shops.
Okay.
And most of them were about to have an office or didn't have an office when they were starting up. And with so many meetings in coffee shop, I said there should be...
Which year was this?
2013-14.
13-14.
Yeah.
And you were that time working with...
Yeah, I was in commercial real estate, and I had moved on from an IPC. I used to work for Colliers.
For viewers' benefit, IPC is...
International Property Consultants.
Yeah.
So in leasing, in commercial leasing, corporate real estate leasing, the whole ecosystem is dominated by IPCs. There are 4 or 5 very strong, amazing IPCs who have been working here: CBRE, JLL, Cushman, Colliers, Knight Frank. So they are dominating the whole leasing, office leasing business. And but again, they were, and even today, most of their revenue is from conventional leasing.
Conventional leasing.
Flex is picking up, but I think Flex is going to be mainstream in next 3 years. I would say in 2014 or 15, Flex was not even 1% of office stock. Today it is at 18%. So if the office stock is 1 billion square feet, 18% is in Flex, which is co-working and managed office. And all the studies, all the trends and patterns show that by 2026, 27, we should be 30% of the office stock.
Wow. Another 2-3 years.
Yeah,
that means we'll almost double.
The demand is phenomenal. Enterprises, corporate clients of all sizes. Like I said, initially the early adopters were startups and high growing companies. But now even large corporate occupiers, multinational companies are embracing Flex, not only for, their multi-city offices or smaller offices, but also for their HQs. They are going for taking the benefit of no capex and flexible or a smaller lease, smaller lock-ins. That's why the whole revolution, and especially post-COVID.
एक बार explain करो for our viewers in a very simple term that what is co-working or flexi office.
That's a very good question. Even though it falls under the whole real estate office domain, but it's very different. पहले एक तरीका था ऑफिस लेने का. You would go to a broker, IPC or a small broker, and you will say, I need 2,000 square feet or 5,000 square feet. So you were given a square feet based solution. You were given 4 walls and you had to do capex. That means interior fit outs.
Interior fit out.
You had to sign 9-year agreement with 3 or 4 years lock-in,
Lock-in.
and give a security deposit of 6 months. फिर क्या हुआ कि now you have taken that square footage knowing that this is my number of employees, the current strength, but what if it grows exponentially? What will you do? You stuck in a lock-in?
या तो उसको छोड़ोगे,
उसको छोड़ के कुछ नया लोगे, क्या करोगे? And that's how the whole emergence of flex offices started. That you, if you are a team of 20, you take an office for 20. When you become 40, you take an office for 40.
20 means 20 seats.
20 seats.
Nothing to do with the square feet.
Nothing to do with square feet. So I think this industry has transformed the whole narrative from per square feet to per desk.
Per desk.
So this is basically co-working. एक operator होते हैं जो एक space लेते हैं, which is we call it like like a hotel. This is one domain in real estate which has a very strong hotel-like
narrative.
So that's why here most of the operators like WeWork, the most famous one, Regus, and then people like you who have started a couple of years back, you are called operators who will take up a space on lease or a revenue share management contract, and then you will make that space into smaller offices
sections.
And then you will not cater to one client, but you're catering to multiple clients. So it's a shared office space. That's how it all started. So a lot of people call it co-working space, a lot of people call it serviced office, a lot of people call it as flexible workspace.
From a layman's point of view, it could be कि फिर मेरी privacy कहाँ है? How will I have privacy? अगर ठीक है मेरे 15 ही लोग हैं और आपने मेरे को co-working में बैठा दिया, how do I get privacy?
एक तो co-working is not about one large space and everyone sitting together.
Okay.
There are open desk dedicated area which is very small. That is mainly co-working operators keep it for hot desking.
Okay.
Like someone wants to use it for a day or very temporary, like say a week or so. But mostly company within co-working take a private office. So
Means a cabin.
they have their own demarcated private office within the co-working.
Okay.
So co-working in India is a very hybrid. That means it's a large space which is occupied by multiple tenants, but every tenant has their own private area. But they are using the common amenities. Common amenities mean the reception is common, the front desk is common, cafeteria is common. And maybe recreational area in some co-working space is common. So they take benefit of shared amenities, but they have their private office.
And इसमें then they might be having opportunities of networking amongst each other. Like if there are 10 companies in this thing.
Yes.
ऐसा होता है और कई लोग इसके लिए भी लेते हैं और
Initially, yes. India में थोड़ा सा अलग है.
Okay.
Like I said, the whole glamorization of this space happened when the WeWork started in US. And he said that why to be in a monotonous, conventional office. Where is that collaboration? Where is that, creative energy coming from? And that kind of collaboration and creative energy normally is required by solopreneurs, freelancers, small startup teams of, less than 5. Yeah. So these kind of people do love that collaboration in a co-working space. But normally, India mein co-working has been embraced by corporates. Even if you are a Indian company, you would prefer your private space. Collaboration के chances मिलते हैं during the breakout times, and there is a recreational area, there is a cafeteria, so there is a coffee shop, so that's how they do it. But broadly, it is a very strong, prudent and economic move for corporates, more than the collaboration angle or a community.
How is it economic? Economic कैसे होती है?
See, economic is that पहले आप अगर conventional lease लेते हो, you on your books are taking a lease which has a lock-in, security deposit, and then you are doing interior fit-outs also. Here, the whole thing is converted into as an OPEX.
Okay.
So you're not doing
OPEX
a CapEx.
is,
monthly, like
monthly. Okay.
So monthly EMI हो गई एक तरीके की. आप पहले रेंट देते थे, मेंटेनेंस देते थे, बट बाकी चीज़ आप खुद मैनेज करते थे, विच इज़ द एडमिन पार्ट, फैसिलिटी एंड ऑल दैट.
उसके लिए अलग टीम रखते थे.
तो अब क्या है कि when you're taking a co-working space, all those things are managed by the operator. So capex is done by the operator first, the investments, and then doing the facility management, housekeeping, security, washroom, janitorial, everything is managed by the operator and it's his team. And what you're doing is you're paying a monthly lump sum figure per seat, rent, or if you're a private office, if it's a 40-seater office, you're paying for those 40 seats. And you don't have to pay extra electricity, no capex.
No matter how much you use.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now tell me one thing. What are the cons? ये तो आपने मुझे benefits बना दिए. Now, if somebody wants to take an office and he's thinking of conventional versus co-working, what are the cons? मतलब downside क्या है किसी के लिए?
See, the way it is, only one narrative has both the sides, which is like, for some people, it is a economic and a prudent move that right now I need an office for 20 packs. Why should I have a bigger office and not use it? So let me be with co-working, and when I grow, I'll move to another co-working or I'll take another office. The same thing is, the fact is that sometimes in very premium micro markets, co-working per desk rate turns out to be slightly higher because of that. And I'll give you an example, say Golf Course Road or BKC Mumbai, Connaught Place. There the seat price is, 20,000 above and, goes up to even 40,000-45,000.
Yeah.
But if you take your own lease, by the way, you won't get that lease. A lot of grade A buildings, they give either, half a floor or a full floor.
So and you they won't will get give a it to a office.
Larger client. So I think con एक ही है कि कई बार if you really calculate at a per desk rate in a most prime micro market, it will sound a bit expensive. And not every operator is there. Only premium operators are there.
That's the only con.
That's the only con.
Otherwise, the flexibility and convenience is very high.
In fact, there are more pros than cons. I'm in this industry, so if I start thinking too much on the con side, then, it affects the energy. But the only con is that, which is the feedback we got from client, is that certain micro markets and certain operators are expensive. Otherwise, overall, it's financially very prudent to be in co-working.
Going back to your journey, that you started meeting, I think, entrepreneurs in coffee shops, and then what happened?
So I was meeting, we were investing in some startups, we were, that energy was coming in. I've been a corporate guy till then. In fact, I started at the age of 35, 36. A lot of, entrepreneurs start in 20s. Okay. I had a good corporate career of 12, 13 years, including IPCs I mentioned and Colliers. मुझे ऐसा लगा कि there is something in me. I mean, I should try entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And what is that I can do? So I knew about real estate, not a hardcore, primary, secondary, residential real estate, but more on the corporate side.
Corporate side, the office side.
And so one was that I should do something on the real estate side. Again, on the commercial, retail or office. Secondly, it should be tech enabled. It should be scalable.
You're clear that it should be.
Yeah, it should be tech enabled. Real estate.
You have a technical background, or you just?
I have love for tech, but my co-founder is from a tech background. So, and also we met through one of our initial investors. So I had this idea one day. It was pretty much, in fact, it's kind of a coincidence. It was August only, and I thought that, if people can buy fashion online, which was a very touch and feel and try, and then if that can happen, then end of the day, why companies of all sizes are taking bare shell office space? Landlords or people should fit it out those space, and people should see online. This is a fully furnished office space ready to move in. And that's how I can discover a workspace, and then a lot of steps can go offline. So we started this idea of creating a online marketplace to discover and book workspaces. And it was not co-working that time. it was on the fact that there should be ready to move in, plug and play offices.
Where people can just
Yeah.
go and take it up.
And they can take it for short term or long term.
Uh-huh.
Then the whole co-working revolution started in India. And we became the aggregator of co-working
You
space.
started in 2015
15 November.
Okay.
Yeah.
And,
And 2016-17 is when the co-working revolution started.
okay. And now you're in 100 cities.
Now the platform has 5,000 centers
Wow.
in 100 cities, including metros, non-metros, tier 2, tier 3. And we
The
do-
largest in the country, I
Yeah.
would say.
And God has been very kind, really blessed, and amazing, I would say backing we got, support we got from operators. And hats off to operators who understood co-working model, and from a one center, a lot of operators became territory champion or a micro market champion. So
Wow.
like for example, if I take your example, you started with golf course extension,
Yeah.
then you opened 2-3 here, and then you
Yeah.
moved to golf course road. That's the organic way of growing.
Yeah. So how have you been, means Qdesq, how Qdesq has been, I would say, functional or played a big role in co-working players growing?
So see, when we started, like I said, from aggregating ready to move in plugins, plug and play spaces, even shared offices. Our humble beginning is that when we started in Gurgaon 2016, we listed like Airbnb, you have an office,
Okay.
but you're not using whole of it. So you can put some
part of it.
part of it. Like
Acha.
you have 10 desk not used, you have a cabin not used. That's how we
आपको
started.
बहुत सारे phone call और messages आने वाले हैं.
So that's how we started.
Okay.
And because that time there was no co-working. I mean, Regis that time must have been 40-50 centers. That's it. Idea was to aggregate fully furnished offices and shared offices. And so we started with that. Co-working phenomena happened. A lot of people, homegrown, brands started. One of them, Office, AWFIS, is now listed
It's a
company.
listed company, IPO.
So they also started in 2015-16. And ऐसे देखते देखते नेशनल प्लेयर्स भी बन गए वो, और टेरिटरी माइक्रो मार्केट चैंपियंस भी आ गए. सो इन टर्म्स ऑफ 5,000 centers which are listed now, there are around 1,100 operators.
Wow.
Yeah. Or we were the first one to start this marketplace. And we became now one of the principal demand generation for operators.
What do you mean by demand generation?
So if you have a co-working space, one of the first 5 things you will do is to list on Qdesq to get leads and visibility. So we are the demand engine for the Flex ecosystem. So, and our vision, our ultimate aim is that if you're looking for a co-working space in any micro market, you want 10 desks in say 8,000 rupees, and you want in say MG Road or Cyber City 8,000 would be
Possibly,
less. Say 20,000 rupees in Cyber City or 8,000 in the extension. So instead of going to a operator directly online, you come to Qdesq.com, the platform.
You'll have all the options.
You will have all the option. You can either, if your demand is only for a day or up to 2 months, you can book online. But if you want for a longer term, then you can discover a space, schedule a visit. Our agents will help you to close that space.
Wow.
So from a workspace discovery to closure, and then post-closure documentation, payments is all tech enabled.
Everything is tech enabled. So how big a role you will give it to tech or real estate? You're a real estate company or a tech company?
Very good question. We're a hybrid.
Okay.
Definitely our domain, our principal domain is real estate and office space acquisition, leasing. But what we do and how we do, the backbone, the nervous system is tech. Tech gives us agility. जो हम कर रहे हैं कोई rocket science नहीं है. Anyone can start a website and put co-working spaces. How we do it is our IP. So we always say that the 3 core values we have, which is agility, integrity, and respect. Tech solves each
of them.
and every value. It makes us faster than anybody else. It makes it transparent. that this is a workspace which is available. Total capacity is 800 seats. This is available. इनका पर डे रेट ये है, इसमें मीटिंग रूम का ये रेट है, इसमें ये फैसिलिटीज़ हैं. You can now schedule a visit, you can visit the space, and then it's a real estate, so we are a digital brokerage also, so our agents help, our CAMs help in corporates, helping the corporate to see these 3-4 options which is as per your budget and your specs, and out of that we help you closing that. So we don't charge any brokerage fee from the office seeker or the occupiers.
Okay. From the occupiers, you don't charge any brokerage. That's so great. Yeah. Now, one more thing. If somebody, so much that you're saying, in your speaking, मुझे पता क्या सुनाई दे रहा है. It's not only that we are talking about a co-working venture or a tech venture. It is a successful startup founder speaking. What will you say are two things that you want to advise somebody who wants to start a startup or is in their initial days or is struggling? What would you want to say to them?
I would just say that, it's a cliche. A lot of people have said, but I strongly believe that idea is 1%, execution is 99%. And within execution, 99% is people management and stakeholder management. So you are not the reason why it would be successful, and you are not the person who will make it successful. It's a collective effort. It is also, divine intervention. I see so many times. There are extreme highs and there are absolute lows also. So you have to overcome that, and you persistent. And also in today's time, I would strongly recommend a lot of startup entrepreneurs to think about profitability from day one.
No burn.
Even if you are building something, it should have a visibility that 12 months, 18 months down the line, it would start generating revenue, and then it will start generating profit.
Yeah.
Those days are over where, just tech story would sell and you will get millions and millions of dollars.
That's so great. I think personally, this has been my advice to a lot of people that I interact with, and they want to begin a business or do a startup, because a lot of people think कि पहले customer acquisition कर लो और पैसे बाद में कमा लेंगे, and then they end up in a tunnel where they are not clear about कि अब पैसे बनेंगे कैसे. So I think the first thing because business is all about profits.
Yeah.
One more question to you.
I just want to add, especially in real estate context, one of my mentors told me, even if you touch real estate, inherently, fundamentally, you should make money.
Yeah.
I do understand a lot of B2C startups can have that model which you said, that first let's have a traction, let's have so much of customer base, and then that's how we will get into the revenue and profitability. But real estate, end of the day, especially in our case, we are a marketplace, so we help companies to get a workspace. Out of the whole journey, we should get commission, and that commission one day should translate that into a overall profitability for the firm.
I think that is why you got funded as well.
We are very lucky, extremely grateful to all the investors. Initially, we had 18 odd angel investors.
18 people got together.
Yeah. So we in 2016-17 we did couple of angel rounds.
Okay.
Amazing people backed us. In true sense, they were angels. And then one of the largest real estate company, JLL, they validated what we are doing. They loved our tech, and their prop tech fund invested in us.
Yeah.
And recently, last year, we also got funded by Gruha's prop tech.
Okay.
Yeah.
So great. Now, one more thing. If somebody wants to start a co-working business, अगर किसी को business start करना है co-working का, तो कैसे start करें? Co-working means co-working centers or something.
If you want to start a co-working space, I would say there is so much of material online available in terms of what should be the revenue model, pricing strategy, ancillary revenue. But I think fundamentally आपको थोड़ा सा Qdesq जैसे प्लेटफॉर्म मार्केट प्लेस पे थोड़ा रिसर्च करना चाहिए कि जिस मार्केट में, जिस सिटी में आप करना चाहते हैं कोवर्किंग, उसमें क्या किस किस्म की कोवर्किंग स्पेसेस हैं, वहाँ पर क्या प्राइसिंग चल रही है. आई हैव सीन कपल ऑफ केसेस वेयर पीपल स्टार्ट कोवर्किंग स्पेसेस एंड देन दे डू इट अ लॉट बाय गट. दैट नोएडा है और एक्सप्रेस वे है, माई प्राइस इज 12,000 रुपीज
और चल जाएगा,
और वो चल जाएगा. एक्चुअली मार्केट वहाँ पर the average pricing over there is $7,000. So there is no point in doing a very premium space in a highly competitive mid-market, So I would say do premium stuff in premium spaces, premium micro markets. Otherwise, India averages $100.
$100, which is 8,300.
Yeah. So sub 8,500 is what I recommend to a lot of people. I also recommend a lot of people to look at non-metros, tier 2, tier 3 cities, because lot of corporates post-COVID have gone near where their people live.
Okay.
पहले एक टाइम था, कोविड से पहले लोग छोटे शहरों से बड़े शहरों में आते थे, यहीं पे जॉब करते थे, उसी हेडक्वार्टर पे करते थे. कोविड के बाद many big companies in all the sectors, BFSI, consulting, they have gone to Jaipur, they've gone to Indore, they've gone to Bhopal, they've gone to even Guwahati. So I think there is an standardized co-working space is still missing in
non-metros.
Yeah.
And standardized means
promised that you will get a very good experience, occupancy experience. There would be perfect internet, tea, coffee, electricity,
everything will be flawless.
Yeah. एक अच्छी बात है इस इस इकोसिस्टम, इस कोवर्किंग स्पेस की, कि बहुत कुछ नहीं करना पड़ता. 5-6 चीज़ें हैं जो परफेक्ट करनी पड़ती हैं. जैसे कि अब ये ऑफिस स्पेस है, मोस्टली काम दिन में ही होता है. सो यू नीड टू हैव अ गुड कंफर्टेबल फर्नीचर, very clean space, very well housekeeping managed, good washrooms, women friendly, and also internet is the backbone. So you invest in the good lease
Quality
line and give occupants a good coffee. यही करना है. And it's not retail or a restaurant where you have to do so much of magic.
इन 5-6 चीज़ों में कोई बचत नहीं करनी. Okay. Now, if somebody wants to start a career, and how do you see co-working for a person who's just completing their masters or just their graduation, and how should they look at co-working as a career? Like how big can somebody reach?
For professionals though, not only co-working, if you look at any parallel, any emerging sector will always be great for professionals. And co-working is the emerging sector. In fact, one good validation with the AWFI is getting listed, and I hear there are 3 or 4 more very large operators
going for listing.
It is giving that eyeballs. It is giving that recognition to the sector. So, and plus, not only the big guys are growing, the micro entrepreneurs who started with 1 center have become 5 center. And they're doing it as a strong, healthy lifestyle business. They're making profits every month. So I think for a professional, it is a very good emerging sector. And there are 2 aspects to co-working space. One is the marketing and sales, how to get occupant. That's the first moment of truth. But the real moment of truth is retaining the occupant. So which is the operation side. So I think if you are more ops, you love, managing occupants, relationships, be on the ops side. Or if you are more of, marketing and sales, that be on this side. So दो ही बातें, या तो बेचना या फिर retain करना.
So a lot of, I feel a lot of hotel management people also can look at this as a career.
Brilliant. Because hotel मैनेजमेंट से जो लोग आते हैं वो इसी तरीके से ट्रेंड होते हैं. half of them go into selling,
Huh.
and half of them get into hospitality management, which is the operation side of it.
And these are the two parts of
Yeah.
co-working.
So a lot of co-working brands and operators should eye on hospitality folks, professionals. उनको ज़्यादा train नहीं करना पड़े. They would be amazing with your occupants. They will give them that hospitality feeling. And on the sales side also, you know, क्योंकि co-working में सिर्फ ऐसा नहीं है कि you only sell seats for long term. Co-working and Flex has on-demand products, which is day pass, which is hot desking. Then you have meeting room, which you sell. You also have virtual offices.
Yeah.
So these are on demand. And then you have private offices, which you sell for longer term.
Yeah. Tell me one thing, what is the biggest challenge you faced in your journey as an entrepreneur?
As an entrepreneur, the biggest challenge I would say is there have been, you know, challenges phase wise.
Yeah.
The first phase when we starting, of course, people loved the idea. In fact, when we started, we did get approached by large VCs also, but then there was a big question mark, how big this will be.
How big will this grow?
This sector will become how big? Like, you know, whether it would be tens of billions dollars in terms of the market size, because co-working was very new. That time we thought, okay, if we're going to be aggregator, where the supply is going to come from? Operator kahan hai? So ye dusra challenge tha, where the supply is going to come from. Initially was funding, then supply we solved. And I would say we were on the right path. Destiny was playing a divine intervention. I would say co-working revolution started. A lot of people started co-working business, and funding also happened thanks to all the investors in our journey. Then the phase came when we created enough traction, but we had to now translate into EBITDA and profitability. And COVID was a challenge where the whole question mark came on return to office. But that was, I should not be saying, but it was blessing in disguise for co-working and Flex. People felt the importance that we should not attach ourselves with a real estate for long. The workspace should be a function. It should be exactly as per the business plan. And that's how the flexible workspace fall into the right corner.
Yeah. Now Qdesq. What is Qdesq's plan coming in the next 3 years, 4 years? Where do you see your business
So
reaching?
Qdesq model is very simple. We are a platform to discover and book co-working, private offices, on-demand spaces. We want to be double of what we are in the next 24 months. We feel if the supply is 18% of the office stock and it's going to be 30%, there should be a growth organically. And if the market is going to grow at 35 to 40% per annum, we should grow double of that. So
70% per annum.
So that's what we're looking at. And so we're going to grow in terms of the supply. We have to grow in terms of, we have to do a lot of work as Qdesq on being the principal search platform. I still feel our competition is not some same platform, similar platform. Our competition is the fact and a phenomena that someone is looking for a co-working space or a workspace, they go on Google online and they end up going to the provider or the operator directly.
That is your competition.
That's the competition.
Don't you think you already are a Google of?
No,
you intend to be.
We are at a very formative, years of being that. There's a long way to go. We just scratched the surface. I think this industry, as per our calculation, it should be market size should be $10 billion.
$10 billion in India.
In India.
Yeah.
And
by what?
By 2030.
Wow.
It should be $10 billion. And if the market size is $10 billion for co-working guys, for a platform should be 10% of that. So it's $1 billion.
Yeah.
And we are some minute percentage of that right now. So we need to be a substantial percentage of what is opportunity for us overall.
Acha, Paras, one thing, the growth that we are talking about, what are the real factors? क्या driving factors है इसके पीछे?
See, if I have to mention the critical growth factors for the ecosystem and for our platform as such, I think first and foremost, hats off to the operator partners, supply partners. There has been since 2016, when I said the phenomena started, even now, more and more supply partners are coming into the ecosystem. National chains are growing, they are opening more
More
centers.
centers.
Regional chains are growing, they're opening more centers, and a lot of landlords have also come into the ecosystem either through a partnership with their operator or themselves getting into co-working business.
Co-working business.
This is the first and foremost. More the supply, and especially from our platform perspective, more the supply, better it is. हमारे पास supply नहीं होगी तो हम market क्या करेंगे and what will we sell? So as a platform, more and more inventory, more and more supply, and our operator partners are our backbone. The support have been phenomenal to Qdesq, to overall co-working ecosystem, and the kind of services they've been giving to corporates, their occupiers, whether it is a small business, big business, large multinational tenant, they have been spot on with their service. They have been spot on with their deal structuring. Brilliant work by operator partners. Second is definitely we need to highlight businesses, corporates, office seekers at large, who in a very traditional and conventional way used to take an office space, and now they are searching online for co-working spaces, they are searching for managed spaces, and it's not like I said, initial early adopters were startups and solopreneurs. I think startups, high growth companies, and then even now Indian large companies, multinational company, everyone is looking for co-working space for some requirement or the other. In some cases, even a large office, managed office, they're looking for, and they're also coming online to search and compare. So that's a great phenomena or a critical growth factor.
I think that's due to a lot of awareness that is coming in as well.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not only us who has a digital footprint as a marketplace or as a platform. Even co-working brands, operator partners have their digital footprint. Overall, we all are working towards it and making this ecosystem, this sector, very much online discoverable, bookable, and the transaction cycle, when you're searching for an office space to actually acquiring and then using the office space, the
That's
lead
shortened.
time, lead time is small compared to conventional lease. And finally, I must highlight that we have the client side, the people who are looking for office space. We have amazing supply partners, but the entire matchmaking as a platform which we are doing, and the reason why we are what we are today, is the brilliant team.
Yeah.
I think we have one of the best flex team, I would say, as Qdesq, and we are very proud of the fact, whether it's the transaction team in the front end, the technology team led by our co-founder Lavesh, who is the architect of how technology, he knitted pretty much the technology from start to finish, from discovery, and then there are a lot of back-end operation. In fact, the entire technology which our sales team uses or our accounts and ops team uses, it's all in-house,
In-house
done,
build.
in-house build.
Yeah, that I can also vouch for. As an operator, our experience working with any part of your team has been flawless.
That's a great compliment.
The service and the promptness has been excellent.
Everyone, not only the transaction team, people in ops, people in accounts, people in marketing, people front end, back end, technology, all the teams have been, जैसे मैंने पहले भी बोला था, to become a startup, to become something, it's not one person's job.
Yeah, it is.
It is सही लोग जुड़ते रहते हैं आपके साथ. Like I said, we had a great supply partners, amazing clients embracing the platform and the co-working segment, and then team helping in clients and the supply partners growing.
Yeah. And do you also think, along with all the factors you said, convenience is one thing which is driving this business?
Yes.
Because, like Zomato, if you look at, It is not because it has all the restaurants listed, but it's just the sheer convenience.
Absolutely.
Same way in this business, the convenience plays a big role.
I think convenience to the point that if I want to start an office tomorrow morning,
I can
I
do it.
can go to the platform, get a, Qdesq CAM. In our term, we call CAM as Key Account Manager, hand holding you with your office search and then booking, payments, documentation. It's all tech enabled and fast.
Yeah.
So I think convenience की जो बात है, it's not only us who's agile or can do everything for you. I think it's the co-working supply partners also who have embraced technology using our platform or whatever technology they're using in-house. They're also giving a lot of convenience to the tenants.
Yeah. I remember back in 1994 when I opened my first office, it was like a 2-month search
Yeah.
that I had to go through various things to open an office.
Absolutely.
And now when you're saying this, it's like an overnight thing for now.
In fact, we have very large clients who have 30, 40 offices through us. So what is the real value add to them is that, of course, they can do those 40 offices themselves, but through one platform, they don't have to manage 40
so many vendors.
vendors. So one vendor, to the extent of one invoice also
Makes a big difference. Paras, now the data you're giving, if somebody wants to get more about all this, wants to know more about all this, maybe somebody who's starting a co-working center or somebody who wants to enter the career, where to get all this data?
Very good question. In fact, the initiative, at least at our end, what we do is that every year we do come up with Pan India Flex report. Sometimes we do sub reports also, which is focusing on certain micro markets or certain cities.
Okay.
But the idea is that we want to be the leading, we want to be the number one marketplace. At the same time, we want to be also recognized as a thought leader in the ecosystem. So we do come up with these reports. In fact, we have done joint reports with IPCs like Colliers and JLL. We have done that. So every year we do this, reports which highlights the demand patterns, which sectors are taking up co-working spaces, which cities are getting maximum occupancy level, what is the pricing per micro market.
Okay.
So it covers supply, demand, pricing. It also covers the subjective or qualitative analysis also, the overall mood and sentiments around, Flex ecosystem.
So what I'm hearing is that you're not only spending time making money, you're also spending time. Yeah, what I'm understanding is because this business in India is hardly 10 years old.
Yeah.
And so you're educating the market so that this business grows in the market and people get served.
Yeah, so idea is that अगर हमने इस 8-9 साल में इस इंडस्ट्री के साथ ग्रो करा है, इस इंडस्ट्री ने ग्रो करा है, like I said, 100 cities में now there are 5,000 centers. So we have collected a lot of data points.
Okay.
We have got data points on demand also, like which micro markets get demand more than 50 seats, where larger corporates are looking at, what are the cities and micro markets where demand is very high for co-working, like 5 desk, 10 desk. तो ये पूरा जो composition है demand का, sector wise, company wise, that we've collected that data. For us, it's very easy. You name a micro market, we'll tell you the supply, number of operators, number of centers, total number of seats, how much is occupied, how much is vacant, what is the average pricing going on. So yeah, but it's all came from the platform.
Okay. Now tell me one thing, is co-working one of the fastest growing industries in the last?
It is.
It is.
Initially when it started, it grew very nicely in 15, 16, 17. I'm talking about India.
Okay.
Then around 18, 19, there was a slight dip. But after 21, COVID, 2 years of COVID, it's been growing phenomenally.
It just altered.
It's growing phenomenally. I would say on an average, we add on 55 to 60 new centers every month.
Wow. In the country.
In the country now.
Okay. You add or the country adds?
Country, I am assuming that we have
covering everything.
more than 90% market penetration. Can't say 100. I still feel that 5,000 center is not the universe.
Yeah.
There are probably 500 more centers somewhere still not listed. We are trying hard. Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you have plans to go global?
Would love to, but I think the India opportunity is great.
Yeah.
We all know that our vision as a country is to be the number 3 economy in the world. So I think there's a lot of growth, there's a lot of momentum in India, and even look at the sectors which are not in India, say manufacturing, GCCs and all that. Everything is happening.
Everything is happening now.
So I think we are extremely focused on India. We don't want our focus to be diluted. Yeah, but one day would love to be a global platform.
Yeah. And do you see, last question, do you see co-working or managed or flexi office outnumbering the conventional office space?
I think the way I see is during COVID, when we did a lot of webinars and some interviews or reports, someone said there's going to be hub and spoke and hybrid model. So there would be a hub, which is your headquarter. I still feel that headquarter, pre-COVID, everyone used to come to that office, and that headquarter used to be 100,000 square feet. Now that headquarter has become shrunk 30-35,000 square feet. In many cases, that headquarter is also a managed office by an operator. And then you have hub with spokes, so that one company has many offices. So those spokes are getting into flex. So I think it will coexist. There would be equilibrium. I think right now, if I say 18% is the co-working stock, it's going to be 30%. I think 10 years from now should be 50-50. Yeah, coexist.
So I think we had a wonderful time talking to you. And thank you for being the flag bearer of a transformation, transformation in office space, which is a big part of everybody's life.
Thank you so much. It was very insightful for me as well, even though I was speaking, because when you are in the business, usual day-to-day stuff, you don't really talk about the ecosystem every day. You don't talk about your business also. So it's good recap for me also. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Paras. Thank you.
Thank you.